Welcome to Kill Count. Today, we're looking at someone
Graduated from Harvard,
who cheated on his wife.
who died of cancer,
He had two children.
and he was nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize 3 times, but never won.
That's right, we're looking at Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer, the destroyer of worlds. So we gave Oppenheimer an infamy score of 6 out of 10 because he was really well known when he was alive, but kind of wasn't as remembered for a decent amount of time until recently when his movie uh, was coming out.
So let's talk about his early beginnings. He had a promising future as a young scientist. He obtained a bachelor's degree in chemistry and a PhD in physics from two great universities. And then he worked at two more amazing universities, UC Berkeley and California Institute of Technology. There, he made great contributions to theoretical physics in both fields of quantum mechanics and nuclear physics. They're both tiny fields at the time, and he helped expand them greatly. So, for the fact that he was known more for his science killing people indirectly, not wandering the streets hurting people, he had a personal kill score of 0 out of 10.
So Oppenheimer's main thing that he's known for is working on the Manhattan Project. Now, the Manhattan Project produced two types of nuclear bombs. These bombs were created strictly for World War II, and they were used in Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945. Uh, these bombs collectively resulted in the deaths of roughly 129,000 and 226,000 people, including civilians, soldiers, and even our American prisoners that were there.
So, how do you feel about this whole thing? Well, he saw the first Trinity test, which was the first nuclear bomb detonation, way before any wartime use. And he left a very memorable quote.
So he said, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds," which clearly he was not happy with what he had done. He had created the most devastating device to ever exist, and he was very upset about that. So we gave him a political kill score of 8 out of 10 because even though he hated his creation, it was used strictly to advance the war efforts, and it did kill a lot of people.
But creativity score of 10 out of 10 because this was the first weapon of its kind. Every other bomb was basically more gunpowder, meant more explosion. This was a completely new field of science. And speaking of, it wasn't just a new field of wartime science, it led to a whole new use of nuclear energy and other contributions to society that were somewhat positive.
So after being part of the creation of the nuclear bomb, he regretted it. And he strongly influenced the Aikson-Lilienthal report, which was a report that advocated for the creation of an international atomic development authority. Essentially, the authority would own all fissionable material and the means of its production so that no one could just go off and create nuclear bombs and start a war. Now, he also advocated against developing the super, which was just a stronger nuclear weapon. He also advocated for air defense against nuclear weapons, and he warned of the fallout from nuclear warfare.
So for self-agency, that's a 0 out of 10. He created the bombs and then instantly regretted it, tried to do everything he could to take it back. He was probably honestly forced into the position a little bit politically initially and just really didn't like the way that his life had turned out. As a matter of fact, 340,000 to 460,000 extra people died as a result of his work. This is completely independent of Japan. This is just how many people die of radiation and fallout from nuclear testing alone. And this was thought to be only around 10,000 people until recently. But he actively fought against these tests from occurring, but ultimately he did create the technology that led to all of these deaths.
Now, Oppenheimer didn't go to jail, but did he get away with it? Not really. He had communist affiliations with his brother, his former students, and the affair that he had while he was the director of Los Alamos, which is where they were working on the Manhattan Project. So he ended up being heavily watched by the FBI. He admitted to having these affiliations and was stripped of all of his clearances and was really just thrown out of the science community.
Remember, this was right before the Cold War. Being a communist or having any affiliations with communists was a huge no-no. So he ended up being thrown to the side of society and becoming a cattle rancher and later on a physics high school teacher. And then he slowly started to work together or work his way back into physics, but never quite regained his full reputation and prestige. However, he did get awarded the Enrico Fermi Award in 1963, and it was supposed to be given to him by his friend JFK.
However, JFK was shot in the head about a week prior to him being given the award, so Lyndon B. Johnson was the one that gave it to him. He also died of cancer. This is mainly attributed to the fact that he was a heavy smoker. He was a chain smoker, in fact. So they attribute it to that. However, here's a picture of him at the Trinity tests. So Oppenheimer went to the site of a nuclear bomb that had just gone off. And the only protection that he was wearing was those little white plastic shoe covers so that they wouldn't stick to nuclear fallout.
They really didn't like the dust that was irritating, but they didn't quite know that it was very, very poisonous until later when Oppenheimer tried to advocate that it was dangerous. So, did he get away with it? I mean, kind of. He got away with it in the legal sense, but he created a horrible device that he never wanted to see again and tried to do everything he could with his life to bring it back down, but kind of lost control.
So overall kill score 4.5 out of 10, and overall kill count 686,001.
So, as you guys can see from this pie chart on the right, that's only 0.01% of the world population at the time, which is tiny. But given the fact that he was more or less a pacifist and didn't really try to contribute to war efforts or killing at all, and as a matter of fact, opposed them, that is a huge number.
So thank you everyone for watching. This is all we have for Oppenheimer, but let us know who you want to see next, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
Join us next time on
Kill Count.